Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm so excited that I've got things on my face. No, I'm just kidding. I am so excited to talk to you about this new program that we are launching here, that we've launched here at the Better Nutrition Program, which is our Microbiome Optimizer. I don't think I have to explain that to any of you, but what I do have to, I think we could all agree to, is that the concept of being able to put a program together that really allows an individual to get the personalized attention that they need while also hearing from an expert, being able to go through experiments to figure out, to evaluate themselves and to make decisions. There's a lot of decision tree work, and in optimizing digestive health is a pretty significant challenge. That is why we rose to the challenge with Erin Lawson. She is an incredible practitioner. Number one, she has a tremendous background as a nurse. Number two, that later on in her career, she has a background as a CNS. And she's been working the last couple of years with patients, really complicated patients, diving into lab work and food supplements, like what so many of you have either done or know that your patients need. And that's really who I wanted to talk to today, because if this isn't your area of expertise, but it's something that you know that your patient may need or benefit from at some phase, this program is a huge opportunity for you to be able to share that one. So I thought what I would actually do first is go through the program and be able to share it here. And show you some of the materials. And by the way, if you want these materials that I'm showing you, I'm going to show you where you can get them on the site, but I'm also just happy for us to share them with you here. So just drop your email into the comment section. I put that above, as well as if you want the pricing and just kind of how the pricing works. And of course, if you want to actually talk to us about it, happy to discuss that. And then I want to go into some of the nuances of this program that are, I think, different, pretty unique compared to a lot of other programs that are focusing on digestive health, and why we talked about this as microbiome optimizing. Okay, so let me come over, first of all, to the Better Nutrition Program site. I just want to get you familiar with where you can find all of the materials that you're looking for. First, I have to share my screen. There we go. Okay. So I'm here on the Better Nutrition Program. I actually, if you came to the homepage, you would see this. You could come down under Get Started. From time to time, we change this. So you would be looking for the programs page, and you would be looking for it as a practitioner. So you come to the programs page. You're welcome to hear what I have to say about programs, although you're getting that info here. And then you also would be able to, and I highly recommend grabbing our starter kit, because when you get the starter kit, you will get all of the information for all the programs I'm talking about here. Of course, you will get the Microbiome Optimizer material. So if you're looking for that and you just want to get that right now, great. If you're like, no, I actually just want to talk to you guys, I want to figure out if this works for me or how this works or what I could do or anything, you can either sign up for a demo or just grab us to chat. Either of those work pretty easily. And so you'll see our array of programs. So you would come down to the Microbiome Optimizer, which is here. And one of the things that's unique about this program is we wrote here that it pairs well with practitioner lab and supplement recommendations. So if you're a practitioner who is already working with your patients on microbiome optimization, but wants them, you may be like, you know what, I have 20 patients and I don't need to tell all of them the same things. But I would love a coach to be able to follow and help them make sure that they get their labs done, make sure that they've are taking their supplements, have them explore some of these, experiment with some of these lifestyle components, experiment with some of the different food choices, learn about some of the additional stuff, then this would be a great program on that. And then I went ahead and I hit the more information, and that's what takes us over here. So these materials are actually intended to very easily be available for you to give to your patient and can explain that information. It also gives you information as I scroll through below that you could use as things you put in your emails or information that you share on your site or anywhere else where you might be recommending this. And so you get these, you download them, you can share them, you can also add your logo to them. So you have our Microbiome Optimizer. Some of the key things where one of the reasons I think people are interested in microbiome is, of course, they're hearing about it, but they may not be connecting the dots for all the different places that either the dotted lines or the solid lines that microbiome impacts. So microbiome, digestive health, solid line. But brain health, energy, weight, body composition, mental health, all of these different things are immune health. Obviously we know microbiome, right? Oral health, dental work, all of these things. And so one of the things that we want to do in our materials is make sure that people are connecting those dots, because it's going to help you, talk to them about why this program will be beneficial for them. Some of the other pieces that we put in here is that we really talk about help addressing any known nutrient deficiencies, how to prevent insufficiencies, especially if you're having to for a period of time or any extended period of time, or maybe you're coming into this because your patient has been following a really restricted diet for a period of time. And you're like, whoa, I want to be able to incorporate more nutrients. But one of the key things we have to do first and foremost is to address any of those deficiencies or insufficiencies, et cetera. And we do have them experiment with sleep and stress reduction efforts, and not talking about sleep and stress and saying you need to improve these, but really what are some of the things that are actually doable for you? Would it be doable for you to have a darker room? Would it be doable for you to have from a stress to do stress check-ins, and in those moments identify, a mechanism, what's one thing that could work for you when you identify that you have elevated stress. So what's included, we've got our 12 weeks. So this is a 3-month, it's one of our larger programs. So it wholesales at closer to the $375 price. That means that you can revenue generate above it. It also means it's pretty comfortably priced to also then match with labs and supplements and some of those other pieces. They actually get 4 sessions with their coach, unlimited messaging. They get a meet and greet right at the beginning so that they're the coach can really personalize this and also implement any of your recommendations, because that's found that one of the foundational differences, of our programs. Bi-weekly group sessions that I'm leading and bringing in other experts, deliciously doable recipes, online support, etc. And so we do go in, into different factors here and different things to talk about and describing that. So that is where you can get all of the content. Let me just see, does anybody have any questions? Yes, this is a program that practitioners can offer to their patients. So yes, that's exactly right on that part. And you do not have to be involved. You can choose to be very involved, especially if you're the one who's getting lab results and we're waiting for their lab results to come in, and then you get those labs. We actually talk about that in the program. And there is a program calendar that the patient gets at the very beginning. So what we do is we go through, they come in, they get a welcome from Erin. So they would be hearing, how does your program work? They'll be getting the actual program calendar. So from the calendar, you'll be able to see, in the beginning, we even have a homemade recipe for some gut healing gummies. There's a real good balance in this program. It is a lot of information, but it's a balance of, within that information, what's going to be useful for the individual, and helping them, sort of figure out where they want to prioritize their time, and doing that with their patient, with their coach, on that part. So that's where the program would start. I just wanted to let me scroll back to the top. Just decided to go super fast in my app. Sorry, everybody, because it's 12 weeks of content. So I'm just going through super quickly. You can see how we've got all these beautiful cards. Okay. There we go. So there are different things. We may be working on the rainbow. We may be working... Oh, you know what? I think this took me to actually the very bottom of all of my programs. All right, let's get... let me just see. Sorry, guys. Let me redo that and see if that helps. I was so excited to show you. Okay, so then we have things like your digestive check-in. So we're going to ask some questions here so that we can get those. We really want to dive into, especially at the beginning of the program, having them answer some key questions so that we know that, of course, this may be information you already have. Again, if this is not what you're working on with your patient, we would be able to share this information with you. We will talk about why there may be supplements that your practitioner has recommended. We will talk about how important it is to, as we're trying to optimize right microbiome, that's our skin, that's what's going in and on our bodies. So we'll go through that. And then we go through, things while this is a nutrition program, it's really about nourishing the body overall. So we want to make sure that we're talking about these different components. We'll introduce things like the lymphatic system, which maybe they haven't explored before, talking about circadian rhythm, and things like really diving into vagal tone. So one of the reasons I think this program is so different than what was out there and why we wanted to put it together is that there wasn't one spot where there was all of this. It felt like there were places where there was some information, but not all of it together. And then also through the lens of working, with a coach, on that piece. So let me pause there and see if that makes sense too. It's a lot, of information pretty quickly. Why did I want to bring you all the Microbiome Optimizer Program? Well, one of the things that I have been getting in working with practitioners and getting feedback from my patients, both my patients and from practitioners and conversations about their patients, is that it's really, really challenging as the dietitian, as the doctor, the nutritionist, the naturopaths, our doctors, DOs, etc. It's really challenging to be available to answer all of the questions in real time that somebody needs as they're going through this. And what we found, and Erin would find this herself in her practice, is that it takes a ton of time to deliver the type of support that the patient needs. And they really do need this support. I think we're talking to people and helping them understand that their body is sending them signals all the time. But one of the things that happens is there's stress and anxiety associated with, how am I going to do with this? Like, what signal is the body going to send? Or when it's sending a signal, it's like, I don't know, is that a signal of this or is that a signal of this? And that's where they usually end up going and like buying a book or trying a new supplement or, going out and doing all these other things. And so really adding in the coaching part, that messaging where we can say to somebody, first of all, feel confident that you can experiment. Remember, we use experimentation as opposed to say goal setting or just try this or this is what we're going to do. But we talk about experiment because in an experiment, you are not good or bad. The experiment either works or it doesn't work. It's to reveal some information for us. And so in that experiment, we're going to learn information that's going to help us. And it may help us go back to your practitioner and say, hey, we want to pivot the recommendations a little bit, or what do you think about this? Wow, it went really well to incorporate this food in. What do we think about incorporating something else in? Maybe if they've been avoiding certain things. But it also allows us to note that we can time experiments. Hey, it's not a good idea to have an experiment the week before your period or the week that your kids are going back to school or, whatever it is on that part. And so in doing that, we can also set goals for each week and help somebody understand that they're still progressing along microbiome optimization in that time frame. As long as they're, continuing to do certain things, you don't always have to add something new. And I think that to me is really important. So much of microbiome optimization is about listening and identifying where somebody and their system are today and making decisions about what could be better, i.e. optimal, and what are the different pathways that we have towards that, and then what's going to fit better for you as an individual, and what do you feel comfortable experimenting with. And so that's one of the reasons, I think it's probably the biggest reason I'm so excited about this particular program. I'm also really excited about this program because Erin goes in depth for the individuals, which is also complementary for the practitioners. Our coaches have been mentioning that they've been learning, and several of them are so excited because it's answered questions for them that they've had about, their own stuff or, et cetera. But that they're from a, when you're looking at labs, what information should I really get from there? And what information maybe the lab test report says this, but it might not actually, or tells us about this, but it doesn't really go deeper into that root cause and what that means specifically for you, the individual. So what I wanted to do today is a little bit of a hybrid of my live and then also sharing something. So Erin's just, she's almost through her maternity leave. So before she went on maternity leave, we recorded a session together to talk a little bit more about the program. So I want to share that with you, and that way you can learn a little bit more about it that way. And if you have any questions, as I said, head on over to the site or drop your email in. We would love to share the materials with you and start to get you familiar with it. And this might be one that is a great lead magnet or an opportunity for you, if you're a dietitian, if you're a coach, if you're a nutritionist, that you might also want to be able to use as a lead magnet to help you get referrals from other practitioners. I know several practitioners are like, ooh, I'm not comfortable even taking on those significant digestive health patients because I don't have the support, I might be able to identify what they need, but I don't have the support to be able to implement it. And so I applaud those practitioners for knowing it, but it's also why we created this solution. So thank you. Enjoy the video with Erin and I. And if you have any additional questions, please reach out to us, and please plan to join me next week for a discussion of our new September tool. So if you have the toolkit, get ready. I am so excited about this. It is our the first in that will be a series of Better Nutrition Swaps, and this one is focusing on snacks and sips. And it's going to give you a lot of ammo, some great content from a social media standpoint or from a marketing standpoint, but also great ammo to help people prioritize where they may want to work, and also to understand how they can go from and evaluate what they want to work on with you, and how they can go from something that's not better all the way through to something that's even better, with a pit stop in the middle, passing through to things that are better, right? So that's always how we want to move people on the trajectory towards better health. All right, I look forward to seeing you then. Take care.